mean?
A few years ago I made a video called The Wretched of the Sonic. It was an analysis about the entire Sonic series from a strongly leftist lens, where I made the case that Sonic was thematically about a progressive environmentalist overthrowing an industrial imperialist. That video did well, so keeping in that vein, I guess I'm the guy that makes weird videos about Sonic now. Let's lay the groundwork for the series here for a second, or at the very least, re-establish the norm. Sonic is an anthropomorphic animal that destroys robots in order to save them from animal capsules and robotic machinery. Ones where they lose their sense of agency over their lives. Ones where they lose their will to keep going. Ones where they act in accordance to their creators, with no free will of their own. Pairing Sonic with existentialism based on this premise sounds a little ludicrous. Stop me if you've heard this one before. The ending of Sonic and the Black Knight blindsides you with a lesson about living your life to the fullest, through a young woman having an existential crisis, fearing death. How out of place, you know? The story of Sonic Frontiers doesn't tonally work with Sonic. It's about these dying spirits being given closure and how it parallels our main characters. This doesn't fit. Shadow's character becoming an existential crisis about whether he's a machine, whether he has a choice in the path he chooses, or whether he even deserved to be created, has no place in this series. It's dumb. How much of this series is about sentient machinery having an existential crisis? Gamma's purpose is to serve Eggman, and when he realizes they were once Flicky, ultimately sacrifices themselves. Shadow is a machine given purpose by his creators, and is constantly having an identity crisis on what he's supposed to be doing. Omega is created but grows resentful of his creator because he feels he wasn't used to his full potential. Emerald is a machine that's essentially the amalgamation of the entire cast, and one of the biggest conflicts of the game is whether or not Emerald should be aborted. Shadow doesn't see the value in teasing a machine with agency when it's destined to live a tragic life. He isn't acting out of cruelty here, he explicitly states is an act of mercy, one that he extends because he knows the feeling. Sonic, on the other hand, believes that Emerald should have a choice to live his life, be that tragic or otherwise. He even does something very similar in Frontiers. This theme is a recurring one. Sonic characters are simple. I think most of these characters are liked just by their design alone. I love Jet the Hawk, but really, I just like his design, and he has a cool theme song. You know, that's it, you know? Regardless, one trend in all of these characters is how they completely define themselves by their needs. Knuckles needs to guard the Emerald. It's the closest thing he has to his culture. It's what his ancestors died for. Even if sometimes he wants a little more to see the world, he is completely bound by his adherence to this principle. Blaze is a character designed to parallel Sonic. She is bound by her sense of duty. As a princess, as a protector, the prospect of even seeking help is ill-advised. If I'm not the fastest, what am I? If I'm not independent, what am I? If I can't be with Sonic, what am I? A lot of people think Sonic is just about freedom. They see the guy running and it's very easy to make the connection. But the overarching message of this series is that of freedom. Sonic doesn't have an origin story, canonically. I'm not talking about the movies or the comics, right? In the games in which he originated, Sonic doesn't have much in the way of a backstory. There's not much really contextualizing him. But on this premise, Sonic has no baggage. In Frontiers, the story actually being told isn't just to parallel the characters, but instead to make them question their purpose. A lot of people incorrectly interpret Amy's scene because they don't really know what to make of it. But I think what it's saying is really clear when you look at the others. If you finally caught up to Sonic and you died, would it make you happy? Would you feel fulfilled? If you made your people proud but you died right after, would you consider that a fulfilling life? If you made your mentor proud, would that truly make you happy?
I guess it feels kind of detached. Have you ever flown around in a dream? Like you're lighter than air? That's what it feels like to me anyway.
The Coco fulfilling their dreams before death, while not directly stated, is supposed to appear a little pathetic. You put in all this work chasing him. You put in all this work trying to make your ancestors proud. You put in all this work trying to make your idol proud. And then you fold it. Ironically, Amy puts it best when she first sees it happen. What's supposed to be this grand act of fulfillment is ultimately hollow and shallow. It's why when I see this critique of the game's tone, I can't help but disagree and think of Shadow the Hedgehog, a game that I like quite a bit, but has such a tonal dissonance all the time, to the point where I think it undercuts some of its best and most interesting parts. Like, of course it's a serious game tonally. The main cast is experiencing death. Like, not even on a subtle thing, like it's incredibly obvious that's what they're going for. That said, one thing Sonic Frontiers doesn't do much with is exploring Sonic. What's his? I established very firmly that I think a lot of this series is about animals and machines having an existential crisis, but what about Sonic? I'm gonna get a bit meta with it, so follow me here. What is Sonic? Sonic was never supposed to be a video game character. He was designed for multimedia. You know how Mario has this big nose to make his sprites stick out? Sonic was designed to imitate Mickey Mouse and the rubber hose style of animation, and pop culture celebrities and figures like Michael Jackson and Bill Clinton. He had two very different cartoons airing at the exact same time, with two very different tones. That's not even to talk about the differences between the US and Japanese depiction of Sonic. So what is Sonic? Sonic 1 has Green Hill, yes, but it also has Marble Zone, Labyrinth, and Scrap Brain. What is Sonic? Sonic runs fast, he also drives a car, and rides hoverboards and skateboards. What is Sonic? Sonic is a 2D high-speed action platformer. Sonic is a 3D boosting game. Sonic is a high-speed shooting game. No. Sonic is a high-speed action game. No. Sonic is an open zone platformer with RPG elements. What is Sonic? What is Sonic? Sonic is a sci-fi anime inspired by Dragon Ball. Sonic is a laid-back sitcom inspired by The Simpsons. No. Sonic is a Western cartoon inspired by Looney Tunes. Wait, no. He is a Western cartoon about a radical freedom fighter. No. Sonic is an adopted son of a police officer. What is Sonic? What is Sonic? What is he? What is the connecting tissue between every form of media Sonic is in? Is it that he's fast? That's not true. Is it that he loves freedom and hates oppression? That's not true. Green Hill? At this point, maybe. Maybe. These are the unifying elements. There's nothing. You're lying. Sonic doesn't mean anything. He was designed to be easy to mold into anything. There's a reason Mario has always struggled with multimedia, where Sonic has always excelled. It's because they didn't build a video game character inherently. They built a brand ambassador, one that could adapt to fit any situation. Sonic is about this. Sonic ain't about nothing. You thought this video was about Sonic and existentialism? No, this is a Trojan horse to talk about the Sonic propaganda, right? You know Sonic reboots itself every 10 years? That's why the voice actor's contract ran out way back when, right? And Roger was leaving and everyone was like, wow, where did this happen? Their contract ran out, right? And they didn't renew them for a period, right? That there's this new creative direction and TV show every 10 years. You can catch on to this. When I was a kid, there was Sonic X on Jetix, and there were 3 other Western Sonic cartoons airing on Kix and Pop. All 4 Sonic shows. They were airing at the exact same time when I grew up. This man is a titan. He's a titan. I don't like open world games. I bought Frontiers because Sonic was in it. Consume the Sonic. Buy the toys. Buy the merchandise. Sonic means so much to so many people, including myself. Are you crazy? I'm making a Sonic Riders inspired game. I love Sonic. But at its core, it doesn't mean anything. What's Sonic's existential crisis? Sonic's crisis is that it has no identity. The speed was a marketing gimmick. Blast processing was a marketing gimmick. This character has constantly been chasing trends for its entire existence. And that's not something new, it's built into its conception. So inherently, that existence could mean nothing. But similar to the games, I guess art imitates reality. Sonic does mean something to people. He inspires people to keep moving forward. He gives young kids a sense of conviction and a love of freedom. He instills this insatiable confidence, and while they use characters like Tails and Amy to project their infatuation with Sonic, equally so, they're inspired by it. Look at the fan content that's been created for this series, it's incredible. Even now, with fans joining in on the creation of official projects, animation shows, everything, it's hard for me to say it means nothing. This means nothing. You'd be lying. Sonic's meaning isn't something that we can define as something as that rigid, as like, oh, Sonic is cool, Sonic is contemporary, he's radical, he's fundamentally Japanese or whatever. Sonic has whatever meaning you're willing to give it. I have a video myself talking about what Sonic means to me. You know, that cynical person can see past all of it, right? Although these characters aren't really that interesting or nearly that deep. I like Silver, he's Silver, he has a cool design and cool powers. That's it. It doesn't have to be that deep. But art imitates reality. Sonic in a vacuum doesn't mean much of anything. But these characters and how they interact with and engage with him, that's what gives him meaning. That's what gives him shape. Because just as we see how he inspires them, I can see how the brand's existence continues to inspire other people. Despite not having a clear purpose or identity, it's almost beneficial in how it has so much artistic leverage to be whatever it wants to be at any given moment. It's one of the things I find most inspiring about this series. Existentialism doesn't end with a statement on how your life has no meaning. It's a new beginning to understanding what it means to you.
If you let it come through, I'ma give it to you better than you ever had it. Girl, I promise I'ma be the only thing you want to do. Making you forget about you, it's automatic, you already know. I can't love you better. Can we live together?
Why? It's a problem, you better follow me. I give you this, you get the lottery. I know all the stars, astrology, last deposit, up the whole economy. Get it, spent 20 to your pitching, kush piffing, heavyweight strength infinite, you different. Last night, picturing 7 times at black chicks, trying white me. Better line, I'm the future, real beef, I shoot you. Walk, no talk, no subbing, no woofers, it's on. Tell by my tone, real call, better answer your phone.
You gon' let me or not?
Can I share a chick or not?
You gon' let me watch you strip or not?
Can I get a new fit or not?